Everybody, good evening. Hello, Shabbat Shalom. I'm so glad to be with you all this evening, to be celebrating Shabbat with you. As you can see, my background is not the normal situation. I'm not in the shul this evening, but I'm very grateful to be able to still spend this evening with all of you. So we are going to begin our service with Kiva Moed, which is on page 6, sorry. Kiva Moed, Kiva Moed, Kiva Moed, Kiva Moed, Yai Lai Lai, Yai Lai 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 Lai, Yai Lai 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 Lai, Yai Lai 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 Lai, Yai Lai Lai, Yai Lai Lai, Yai Lai 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 Lai, Lai 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 Lai, Yai Lai 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 Lai, Yai Lai Lai, Yai Lai Lai, Yai Lai 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 Lai, Yai Lai, Yai Lai, Yai Lai 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 Lai, Yai Lai 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 Lai, Kiva Moed, Kiva Moed, Kiva Moed, Kiva Moed. I invite you to take a breath, to let the worries of the week go. Shabbat is upon us. We knew it would come, but sometimes it feels like it will never come. And yet here we are together in this moment, singing about Shabbat and being grateful for it. Let's continue with Ki Eshmera Shabbat, based on the words of Ibn Ezra on page 6. Ki Eshmera Shabbat El Yishmereni, Ki Eshmera Shabbat El Yishmereni, Oti Leomeyad Beino Beini, Oti Leomeyad Beino Beini, Ki Eshmera Shabbat El Yishmereni, Ki Eshmera Shabbat El Yishmereni, Oti Leomeyad Beino Beini, Oti Leomeyad Beino Beini. When I keep Shabbat, God watches over me. It is as a sign forever between God and me. The fact that Shabbat gets to be so personal and also so community oriented is really one of the things that makes it so special. We will continue welcoming Shabbat this evening with candle lighting. If somebody has candles and you'd like to light for us, I would really appreciate it. Oh, sages, that would be wonderful. Thank you.
And the occasion is to celebrate our power being back on.
Ah, mazel tov, but you got to light candles just in case, you know? Wonderful.
Yes.
We are on page 9.
Okay, let me get them in view.
We've been living with candles and flashlights.
Wow.
Okay, here we go.
All right.
I hope you can see them okay.
Mm-hmm. Perfectly.
Okay, good. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lehadlik ner shel Shabbat. Amen.
Amen. Good Shabbos. Thank you both. Thank you. Good Shabbos. As these Shabbat candles give light to all who behold them, so may we, by our lives, give light to all who behold us. As their brightness reminds us of the generations of Israel who have kindled light, so may we, in our own day, be among those who kindle light. We are going to continue welcoming Shabbat with song, with Shir Ladonai, Psalm 96 on page 11. Please join me. Shiru Ladonai kol haaretz. Shiru Ladonai shir chadash. Shiru Ladonai kol haaretz. Shiru Ladonai shir chadash. Sing unto God, all the earth, a new song. I will sing unto God a new song. Sing unto God, and we'll all sing along. All the earth, a new song unto God. Shiru Ladonai kol haaretz. Shiru Ladonai shir chadash. We are going to continue welcoming Shabbat with Lecha Dodi. As you all know, at our last verse, we'll rise, join together. But as you know, I often say, if you are able, please rise. This evening, I am not so able. I'm just a little sore, but I'll be fine. But I just wanted to let you know that I am serving it as an example of that. Do what you need to do to take good care of yourself. We will continue. We are on page 14. La la lecha dodi, likra kala, penei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha dodi, likra kala, penei Shabbat nekabela. La lecha dodi, likra kala, penei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha dodi, likra kala, penei Shabbat nekabela. Shamor v'zachor b'dibur echad, hishmi'anu el hameyuchad, Adonai echad u'shemo echad, l'shem tiferet v'litchila la la la, lecha dodi, likra kala, b'nei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha dodi, likra kala, b'nei Shabbat nekabela. Likrat Shabbat lechu v'nelcha, ki hi mekor haberacha, mirosh mikadam nasucha, sof ma'aseh b'mashchavat chila la la la, lecha dodi, likra kala, b'nei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha dodi, likra kala, b'nei Shabbat nekabela. Hitoreri, kiva orach kumiori, uri shir daberi, kavod Adonai ailechni la 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 la, lecha dodi, likra kala, b'nei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha dodi, likra kala, b'nei Shabbat nekabela. Invite you to rise if you are able. Boi v'shalom ha'teret bala, gam b'simcha u'b'tzola, toch emuneim segula. Boi chala, Lecha dodi, likra kala, b'nei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha lecha dodi ligra ligra kala B'nei penei Shabbat nekabela la 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 Lecha dodi ligra ligra kala B'nei penei Shabbat nekabela Lecha lecha dodi ligra ligra kala B'nei penei Shabbat nekabela. We are going to continue now with the Chatzi Kaddish, the separation. A Kaddish is usually said only when there are 10 people, when we have a minyan. And of course, tonight we are lucky that we do have one, the Kaddish that separates the different parts of the service from one another. We are on page 17. Yitkadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah Be'alma divarach yurte v'yamlich malchute B'chayechon uv'yamechon uv'chayedecho bet Yisrael Ba'agala uv'izman karim Ve'imeru Amen Yehi Shmei Rabbah Mevorach Le'olam Ulal Me'omaya Yitbarach V'yishtabach V'yipa'ar V'yitramam V'yitnaseh V'yitadar V'yitaleh V'yithalal Shemei Dekudesha Brichu Le'elam Min Kol Berchata V'shirata Tushbechata v'nechemata da'amiran be'alma ve'imeru Amen. We are going to rise and continue now with Baruch Hu on page 18. Baruch Hu et Adonai HaMevorach Baruch Adonai HaMevorach Le'olam va'ed HaMevorach Le'olam va'ed. Please be seated. We will continue on page 20 at the top. Somewhere at the fringes of night, the shadows of darkness soften, and the earth comes alive with hints of light. My heart fills with fresh, bright hope, and the world stirs to give birth to color. Colors are secrets not seen in the dark, like the promise of God when darkness is visible. Creator, you who bring dawn from the darkness, break the used goblets of my yesterdays. Let me find wisdom in the shards and grow in knowledge of your eternal presence. Baruch atah Adonai, hama'ariv aravim. Blessed are you, Almighty One, who makes the evenings fall. Ahavat olam, Beit Yisrael, Amcha ahavta, Torah u'mitzvot, chukim u'mishpatim, Otanu lemadata. Al ken Adonai Eloheinu b'shachbenu, kumeinu nasiach bechukecha, v'nismach v'divrei toratecha, u'mitzvotecha le'olam va'ed. Ki chem chayenu ve'orech yameinu uvahem nege yomam v'layla nege yomam v'layla ve'achavatcha al tasir mimenu le'olamim Baruch atah Adonai, Ohev Amo Yisrael, Ohev Amo Yisrael. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad, Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Le'olam Va'ed. Continue with Ve'ahavta on page 22. Ve'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha bechol levavcha uvechol nafshecha uvechol me'odecha ve'hayu hadvarim ha'ele asher anochi mitzavecha hayom alevavecha veshinantam levanecha bedibarta bam beshitecha bebeitecha uvelechtecha vaderech uveshachbecha uvekumecha ukshartan leot al yadecha vehayu letotafot bein einecha uchtavtam al mezuzot beitecha uvisharecha Leman tizkeru v'asitem et kol mitzvotai v'yitem kedoshim lelohechem. Ani Adonai Elohechem asher hotzeiti etchem me'eretz Mitzrayim lehiot lachem lelohim. Ani Adonai Elohechem. So right now I'm reading a book called The Jew and the Lotus. And it's a book about a gentleman who, I haven't gotten very far into it, so I don't have a review, positive or negative yet. But one of the stories that, this is a story of a gentleman who went with a group of rabbis to meet with the Dalai Lama in the, I think 89 or 90. And he tells this story about how one of the rabbis who was leading part of this trip was Rabbi Zalman Schechter Shlomi, who, we all know from the renewal movement. He was sort of the guy. And he was the one who sort of introduced renewal as a concept. And one of the really interesting things that the story that he tells is about a prayer that's actually not in this prayer book. It's the Emet prayer, Emet Ve'emunah. It usually goes, the reason we say Adonai Elohechem Emet at the end of Ve'ahavta is because the next prayer starts with the word Emet. And in the morning it's Emet Ve'yatziv, and in the evening it's Emet Ve'emunah. And it's a prayer about truth. The word Emet means truth. And so this author tells the story that, he wasn't really a religious guy. Like he didn't really care about, he wasn't like somebody who was going to services or whatever. But he went on this trip with all these rabbis, and this rabbi comes up to him and looks at him right in the face and says, "Your God is the God of truth." And And that story just really stuck with me because it happened in the middle of services, first of all. Like, what a crazy thing to have happen. A rabbi who's leading services to come up and translate it to you right in your face. But the other thing is that I think there is something to be said for the truth that we get to find the God that works for us, that is the truth for us, that we get to develop a relationship with God in a way that is true for us. And we each get to do that individually with the people in our lives. And it's really special and unique because each of us needs to find that truth, God, the universe, whatever you might call it. And we get to define it for ourselves. And what a blessing that is. We have these ways that we get a chance to, we have this structure in the Torah, but we get to find out what is truth for us and what works for us. And that's part of our journey as Jews. And I just, that story continues to stick with me. I'll keep you posted on the book. I'm about 70 pages in. So if it's really good, I'm going to write a holiday sermon on it. So get ready. Just a little preview. We're going to continue now with Mi Chamocha on page 25. Mi chamocha ba'elim Adonai, mi kamocha nehedar b'kodesh. Mi chamocha ba'elim Adonai, mi kamocha nehedar b'kodesh. Nora tehilot, Osei Fele. Who is like you? Who is like you, Adonai? Who is like you, Adonai? When Moses and the children crossed the sea, they sang to you with songs of joy. Who is like you, Adonai? Adonai, mi chamocha ba'elim Adonai, mi kamocha nehedar b'kodesh. We will continue with Guide My Steps and Hashkivenu on page 27. Oh, guide my steps and help me find my way. I need your shelter now. So rock me in your arms and guide my steps and help me make this day a song of praise to you. So rock me in your arms and guide my steps. Hashkivenu Adonai, Eloheinu l'shalom, v'hamidenu shomreinu l'chaim. Hashkivenu Adonai, Eloheinu l'shalom, v'hamidenu shomreinu l'chaim. We are going to continue with the Amidah on page 51. Please rise if you are able. Ananana Adonai, Ananana Svatai Tiftach, Ananana Ufi Yagid Tehilatecha, Ananana Adonai, Ananana Svatai Tiftach, Ananana Ufi Yagid Tehilatecha, Ananana Adonai. Ananana Satai Titach. Ananana Ufi Yagid. Ufi Yagid Tehilatecha. Ananana Adonai. Ananana Svatai Tiftach. Ananana Ufi Yagid. Ufi Yagid Tehilatecha. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu v'Elohei Avotenu v'Imotenu Elohei Avraham Elohei Yitzhak v'Elohei Yaakov Elohei Sarah Elohei Rivka Elohei Leah v'Elohei Rachel Ha'el Hagadol Hagibor v'Hanora El Elyon Gomel Chasadim Tovim Vekonei Hakol V'zocher Chastei Avot V'imahot Umevi Geula Livnei V'neihem Lema'an Shemo Be'ahava Melech Ozer U'Moshiach U'Magen Baruch atah Adonai Magen Avraham Ve'ezrat Sarah Ata gibor leolam Adonai, mechayei hakol ata Rav lehoshia. Mechalkel hayim bechesed, mechayei hakol berachamim rabim. Somech noflim verofech cholim, umatir asurim. Umekayem emunato lishenei afar michamocha va'al gevurot umido melech melech memit umechayeh umatzmiach Yeshua v'ne'eman ata lahachayot hakol Baruch atah Adonai Mechayeh hakol. Ata kadosh shimcha kadosh ukdoshim b'chol yom mehalu chasela. Baruch atah Adonai ha'el hakadosh. I invite you to be seated and join me as we celebrate Shabbat with Vishamru on page 55. Veshamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat la'asot et ha-Shabbat ledorotam berit olam. Veshamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat la'asot et ha-Shabbat ledorotam berit olam. Beini uvein B'nai Yisrael, oti leolam, oti leolam. Veshamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat la'asot et ha-Shabbat ledorotam berit olam. Ki sheshet yamim asa Adonai et hashamayim ve'et haaretz ve'shamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat la'asot et ha-Shabbat ledorotam berit olam. Uvayom hashvi shavat vaynafash Shavat vaynafash, shavat vaynafash, veshamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat la'asot et ha-Shabbat ledorotam berit olam. We are going to continue now with silence meditations of your heart, the words on the page, anything you might need to say or focus on this evening, and we'll join back together in just a few moments. Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Ki atahu melech adon lechol hashalom. Ki atahu melech adon lechol hashalom. Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. V'tov be'enecha levarech et Amcha Yisrael bechol eit uvechol shah bishlomecha. Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Tasim Leolam. Tasim Leolam. So this evening, our Torah portion this weekend is Matot Maaseh, which is a double portion. Surely lucky and indeed to have a double portion of anything on Shabbat, and especially a double portion of Torah, because we've got time to study it. So I wanted to share a little bit about some of my favorite characters in the Torah. They are the daughters of Zelophehad. And last week was the week that we read the Parshat Pinchas, which is when we first hear about these daughters. So Zelophehad is a guy who only has daughters. He does not have any sons as heirs. And he's not just a guy; he's a member of one of the tribes. And these women, the land is going to be divided up amongst the tribe. And these women basically insist that they inherit their ancestral land. Like they said, this is our land. And they go to Moses and they say, this isn't fair. Moses goes to God and says, hey, God, what do you think about this? And God says, I think the daughters deserve to inherit their father's land. And they also receive a promise at that point that the land will remain in there as part of their inheritance in perpetuity, like as far as their their descendants go. So these 5 daughters worked up all this courage. They go to Moses. Moses goes to God. God says, okay. And then in this next parsha, some male relatives basically go to Moses and challenge this divine ruling. They are afraid they're going to be shortchanged, that if Zelophehad's daughters intermarry with a different tribe, the tribe will lose some land and then they lose power. And these women stand up for themselves again. They are incredible. They're also named, which is really rare in the Torah for women to be named. They are Machla, Tirza, Hagla, Milcha, and Noah, 5 daughters of Zelophehad. Last week, in the last parsha, they were just called the daughters of Zelophehad, but this week they are named. What I also find interesting is the name Zelophehad. It's like a compound word. It's 2 Hebrew words, zel, which means shadow, and pachad or fachad means fear. And these daughters of Zelophehad teach us such an incredible, important lesson. They came out of the shadow of fear. Sorry. Sorry. It's what it is. So these daughters came out of Zelophehad, of the shadow of fear, and went before Moses and risked everything. Other people's dogs are loud. It's okay. It's just what it is. So these daughters come out of Zelophehad. They come out of the shadow of fear, and they ask for what they want. And they may not get it, but this lesson is one that I think we can always take advantage of, right? It's just like the story from before that the rabbi told him, your God is the God of truth. These 5 women stood in their truth and asked for what they wanted, and they received their truth, and they were named by that truth. They left the shadow of fear. So friends, I ask you, what are you standing in the shadow of fear of? What are you remaining in those shadows? What are you letting? What fear are you letting hold you back? I know that I have things. I know each of us has things, right? That's the nature of being a human being. But these wonderful, incredible 5 women, Machla, Tirza, Hogla, Milcha, and Noah, teach us that it's our responsibility to get out from that shadow of fear. And once we shine the light into the shadows, the fear doesn't seem so big. The first time that I heard this lesson, it blew my mind. I truly, I think I can't remember which teacher said it, but I remember turning to my classmate, who's my friend, and saying, I just remember looking at her and being like, oh my God, like this lesson, these women are like yet again changed the game for us. So I guess my lesson here is the one that I'm taking, which I hope you'll find useful too, is to remove the shadows and step out into the light and work from the fear. Do it anyway. What's that book? Feel the fear and do it anyway. I don't know. I think you can feel the fear and wait and then do something. But, I think these women are such an incredible example for all of us. And it's my prayer for each of us that we find ways to step out from the shadows, and that we as a community find ways to move from that fear and step into our truth and step into what God is for all of us. Can you hear that zone? May it be so. We will continue now, as it's our tradition, with the Misha Berach prayer, our prayer for healing, and page 67. This evening, we are thinking of the following Shir Tikvah friends and members: Elaine Silverman, Dorothy Halprin, Jean Hirschfeld, Suzanne Kovacs, Ruth Zendel, Ellen Tickner, and Shay Buchanan. Shay, go ahead. You're muted, Shay.
Shir Tikvah, Mary Fowler,
Sages.
Ina Siegel.
Redmonds.
Zoe Marcus, Judy Casper, Catherine Duncan, and Norm Raymond.
Thank you. Arlene.
Noah Shaw, Richard Swantek, Peggy Brown, Alice Moore, Renee Evans, Julie Mathers, Robbie Linkertall, Ivy Gold, Mira Hoffman, Steve Penny.
Let's see, Ed.
Chuzzik, Alan Chuzzik, those people suffering from addiction.
Sheila.
Yeah, Karen Cheswick, Paula Gossier, Jim Vandersloot, Mary Cha, and Ernest Allison.
Thank you. Thank you both. Sheila.
Bruce Mackey and David Lavadier.
Thank you. We also see Lauren Aird, Sarah Bat Abraham, Karen Kahn, Art Horning, Jerry Moore, and Gary Price. I'm also thinking this evening of my dear friend, Harav Sarah Elisheva Bat Yonatan. We continue together. Mi shebeirach avotenu mekor habracha laimotenu. May the source of strength, who bless the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say, Amen. Mi shebeirach imotenu mekor habracha avotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shelema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say, Amen. Nancy Gross, I'm realizing I missed you there on the Misha Berach prayers. Would you like to share some names with us?
I would, if that's okay. Pat
Yes.
Tim and Molly Heinen, Joe Stone, Cheryl Marl, and Joyce Van Gordon. Thank you.
Baruch atah Adonai Rafeh HaChavlim. Blessed are you, God, healer of the sick. We will continue now with Aleinu, which you can find on page 74. I invite you to rise. Aleinu l'shabeach la'adon hakol, la'tet gedula le'yotzer bereshit, shelo asanu k'goyei haratzon, velo samanu k'mishpachot ha'adama, shelo sam chelkenu kahem, v'goralenu kechol hamonam, v'anachnu korim, ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא. ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד ושמו אחד. Please be seated. Janice, are you able to share some announcements with us this evening? Wonderful.
Yep. Okay. Next Friday, July 16th, Shir Tikvah will participate in an off-site Shabbat Together experience on Belle Isle with several local synagogues. Okay, that's a weird sentence. This event is geared towards young adults. We will also have a virtual service available for our congregation led by Ed Chezik. We're joining Detroit Jews for Justice on Sunday, July 18th at 6 p.m. for a Tisha B'Av film screening and discussion of 40 Days of Teshuvah. We'll gather and share in ritual to mark Tisha B'Av and discuss the impact of ritual on today's social movement. RSVP at shirtikvah.org. Invite your family and friends to our upcoming Prospective Member Music Shabbat service on Friday, July 23rd at 7:15 p.m. We hope you will share our incredible community with others, encourage them to come and experience Shir Tikvah for themselves. Please join Shir Tikvah Brotherhood and the Detroit Tigers on Saturday, August 14th for a 6:10 p.m. game versus the Cleveland Indians. Tickets can be purchased at shirtikvah.org and include your seat, hot dog, chips, and a beverage. Have a Shabbat or high holiday prayer book you borrowed during the pandemic? If so, please reach out to the Religious Rituals Committee and let us know. You can email info@shirtikvah.org and we'll get it to the committee chairs. We want to be sure to have enough books on hand for our in-person services this year. Our new membership year has just begun. Have you been joining us virtually for Shabbat services and are interested in membership? Are you a current member and have questions before you return your pledge card? Please contact our Executive Director, Lorelei Berg, at info@shirtikvah.org with questions or to learn more.
Thank you. And thank you to the Cheziks, who I know will lead a beautiful service next week, who were asked very last minute. So I appreciate you both. We will continue in our service in just a moment. But I am feeling very led to ask that we just take a pause. As we remember the people who came before us, we often feel a deep sense of sadness, or our relationships were complicated. But I also want to ask that we take a moment for gratitude and give thanks for those people in our lives and the impact that they did have. We will continue with the Kaddish Hatom, the Mourner's Kaddish, in just a second. This Friday, our hearts go out to Jenny and Jim Koenig on the passing of Jenny's mother and Jim's mother-in-law, Shirley Kane. We also think this evening of Marcia and Irv Wengrow as they let us know of the passing of Marcia's cousin, Bertha Kurland. We are in a period of Shiva for Philip Crow, father of Robert Crow and father-in-law of Rabbi Arnie. We are also in a period of Shloshim for Nicholas Prentice, nephew of Donna Prentice Bonner. This week, we also recall the yahrzeits of Dorian Pastor, husband of Carol Pastor, Michael Frederick, father of Sandy Walker, Leonard Levy, father of Carrie Levy, Shirley Mohan, mother of Tim Mohan, Marvin Shaw, brother of Arlene Shaw, Ann Peltz, mother of Marcia Wengrow, Doris Paul, mother of Sander Paul, and Isidore Aronoff, father of Linda Laurie. If there's anybody else you are thinking of this evening, I invite you to share that name aloud with us. I invite you to, go ahead, Redbins.
Nicholas Rudman.
Ann Tubbs.
We join together in remembering all those names, in offering gratitude, in our pain. We join in the Kaddish Hatom. Yidkadal v'yidkadash shemei Rabbah, be'alma divra chirutei v'yamlich malchutei, v'chayechon u'v'yomechon u'chaye dechol beit Yisrael, v'agala u'vizman kariv v'imru. Amen. Yehi shmei Rabbah mevarach le'olam olamei almaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yipa'ar v'yitramam v'yitnaseh. V'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal. Shmei dekudisha brichu. Le'elam min kol birchata v'shirata tushbechata v'nechemata ta'amiran ve'alma v'imru. Amen. Eshlama Rabba min Shemaya v'hayim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru. Amen. Oseh shalom b'imromav hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru. Amen. May the source of peace send peace to all who mourn and comfort to all who are bereaved here amongst us and everywhere, to which we say, Amen. Oseh shalom b'imromav hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael ve'imru ve'imru. Amen. Ya'aseh shalom, ya'aseh shalom, shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Ya'aseh shalom, ya'aseh shalom, shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Ya'aseh shalom, ya'aseh shalom, shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Ya'aseh shalom, ya'aseh shalom, shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Ya'aseh shalom, ya'aseh shalom, shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Let us continue as we close our service this evening with the Kiddush and Motzi. If you have Kiddush wine nearby and you'd like to lead us in Kiddush, I would appreciate it. If not, we can do it together. It could be the short version, the long version, a medium version of some kind.
I can do it. I'm still celebrating the fact that my lights are on.
All right, Karen. Thank you, Karen. Bookends. I appreciate it. If you can do Kiddush and Motzi, I would appreciate it. Thank
I can
you.
do that. I'm prepared.
Thank you. I'm glad you are.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei peri hagafen.
Amen.
L'chaim.
L'chaim. L'chaim. To life and to lights.
I am.
Amen.
Amen.
And a slice from Costco French bread.
Perfect.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam.
Motzi lechem min
Sorry. Motzi lechem min haaretz. Amen.
Amen. B'tei avon. Enjoy. Thank you both. Thank you. We are going to conclude our service this evening with Oziva Zimradia. God is our strength in the times that is the toughest and the times where we just don't think we can bear it. God is our strength. Oziva Zimradia, I believe, is on page 6, but I could be making that up. I think it's real close to 6, maybe 7. But my computer's frozen right now, so maybe you can't hear me at all. Unclear. All right. Page 6, I was right. All right. Ozi vezimradia vayehili lishua. 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 Shabbat shalom, everybody. May you find ways to
Shabbat shalom.
out of that darkness. Shabbat shalom. Thank you all so much for
Thank you, Rabbi.
Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat
Shalom, everybody.
Shalom.
Shabbat shalom.
Mary, I'm sorry I said your last name.
Shalom, everyone.
Shabbat shalom. Thank you.
Shabbat shalom, everybody.
Shabbat shalom, everybody.
Shabbat shalom.
Penny, is your volume working?
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
You can hear me?
Yep.
Oh, good. There was something wrong. Josh fixed it. Okay, thank you.
Good for Josh.
Yes.
I want you to know my
Hollywood squares are getting bigger.
loves Lashahodi. Every time that's on, she comes running in and she's meowing along with it. That's like her favorite song.
You know, I'm happy. I try to serve all people and all beings, you know.
She leaves after that song, but she comes in for that song.
Well, listen, I feel like that's a pretty good deal. If I can get a cat's attention at all, I feel like I've won. So
Can't wait to see everybody on the 23rd.
see you soon, everyone.
Yeah.
Yes.
Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat
Thank you,
Shabbat
Dana.
shalom.
All right.
Rabbi,
Ed,
good Shabbos. How are you?
I'm well. How are you?
Baruch Hashem, I am well. Thank you so much.
Good.
When I daven, even though I don't have a minion, although who knows how many personalities are in between my ears, so there might be a minion there. Roxy will come upstairs. And when I get to the Elenu, not always, but sometimes she will do the dog bow.
Oh, that's perfect.
I know, it's just such a hoot. Such a hoot.
Yeah.
I absolutely loved your commentary about a mess.
Thank you. Now,
Wonderful, Wonderful job. Am I the last? Is it just us two now?
No, Janice is here. Mark's here. We're all here.
Oh.
So.
All right. Well, I'll let you go, Rabbi. Good Shabbos.
Shabbat shalom. Good Shabbos, everyone. See you soon.
Shabbat shalom.
Thank you again, Janice.
You're welcome. Did you get my email?